Okay, well this is just to whet your appetite, but what I have running here is Elite on a BBC emulator, courtesy of Frontier Developments. Thank you very much to celebrate 30 years of Elite. And I've also got a de-lens locked version of the ZX Spectrum version of Elite, which is the one that I played as a kid. I do have my ZX Spectrum still, and it does work, but I don't have a television anymore that I can plug it into, which is a bit of a nuisance. So I'm going to have to use an emulated version here. This will be quite an interesting match actually, because the Spectrum had a little bit more memory than the BBC. 48 plays 32, and the Spectrum had a somewhat faster processor in the 3.5 megahertz. Can you believe that? Z80A chip versus the older 6502 processor in the BBC running at 2 megahertz. However, the 6502 was quite a lot more efficient. So actually the speed advantage there is less of an issue. So the version of the BBC version is actually the disc version, which means it will have more ships and stuff than the Spectrum version. But the Spectrum version obviously came off a cassette, took about 20 minutes to load, but doesn't have the disc delays of the BBC version on disc. So it'll be interesting to compare these two. First impressions. Having never played the BBC version, I'm a little bit surprised that the graphics are as flickery as they are. The Spectrum version, as you can see, is much more, well, a lot less flickery. But the BBC version, certainly on the loading screen here, does seem to be animating the Cobra rather more sophisticated way than the Spectrum version. The Spectrum version was always a bit more widescreen as well. You can see it's a bit compressed on the screen, and the graphic colouring of the control panel is less sophisticated because of the attribute clash problems that the Spectrum had in the design of the graphics layout. However, I would say that the Spectrum version's display looks a little cleaner. To me, the BBC version looks a little bit cluttered down the bottom, a little harder to read. But we'll see. So anyway, a full review putting these two versions of the iconic game head to head for Elite 30 years will be coming up soon. Enjoy. Speak to you soon.